Welcome, and thank you for clicking on this video. 2025 is almost over. Looking back over the past 2 years on YouTube, I have reviewed 40 different short scale basses. And after multiple viewer requests, I'm finally gonna make this video. I'm gonna rank them for you, or tell you what I like, or tell you what I prefer, and or tell you what I've learned along the way. Let's go. Before we get going with today's video, I want to first take the opportunity to say thank you to you, all the viewers who took the time to click on my videos, watch them, leave a comment, leave a like, and everyone who subscribed to the channel. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I am so appreciative of all the support and encouragement that you, the bass community, has provided me, and I'm so thankful. So thank you very much. I was initially a little reluctant to make this video because at the end of the day, I don't want to try to sell you anything. I am not sponsored, nor am I a representative of any guitar manufacturer, any company, any music store. I didn't really want to say, buy this, don't buy that. In all of the reviews and demonstrations of these short scale basses that I've made, I've tried very hard to just kind of state what I see and provide some photographic evidence of what I see. But at the end of the day, the instrument has to be compatible with you, not me. But after multiple viewer requests, I want to tell you what I've learned in my journey of having reviewed these 40 different short scale basses. So if you've been following this channel, you probably already know how I got into this. It was almost completely by accident and necessity at the same time. Let me explain. I started experiencing a lot of hand symptoms, and I was losing the ability to fully straighten my fingers. And even to this day, these two fingers don't fully straighten at all. I was getting a lot of swelling in my joints, and my skin started turning red. And over the next 2 years, more parts of my body started falling apart. My big muscles started not working properly. I was less able to walk properly. My lung muscles got involved, and now I've been ventilated for a few years. I was a medical mess, and multiple medications later, both oral and intravenous medications. So I endured intravenous rituximab, IVIG. I did a whole year of IV cyclophosphamide. I was a mess. And throughout all of this, my lived reality was I was gonna lose my life in music. And that was heartbreaking, to say the least. Some things you can't change. Can't change how your body reacts. You can't change how your body changes. But you can change other things to kind of adapt and cope with the changes to your body that you have no control over. And one of those things was getting rid of my 5-string 35-inch scale basses, tuned E to C, because that was still cool back then, and instead went to a shorter scale instrument. So with this, first position is over here on a 35-inch 5-string, a low F for me, which is first fret on the low B string, was way out here. And that was just too uncomfortable to play. My joints couldn't take it, my muscles couldn't take it, the bigger body didn't sit comfortably on my right arm, and the space between the frets, just due to the longer scale, became too uncomfortable to play. So for me and my lived experience, I went to a shorter 30-inch scale purely to make myself still be able to play bass. That was the main thing. It wasn't because I was trying to seek a different tone. It was pure necessity. I needed a smaller instrument. So the genesis of this YouTube channel in its kind of current configuration was for me to hopefully spread word to the world that short scale basses are not just for kids. They're not just for beginners. There are tonal benefits to it, yes, but I was hoping to be able to reach people of the world who have physical limitations, maybe similar to me, maybe different limitations, but physical limitations nonetheless. And my hope was to convey to the world is you can still play bass, you can still sound good, you can still engage in your world of music. Persevere and keep trucking along. 40 short scale bass reviews later, I want to share with you what I've learned. The first thing, you do not need an expensive instrument. What you need is a good one that's well made. Manufacturing now is so good that in the right hands, they can go in and play a $50 Temu or entry-level bass and still sound good. You need a good setup. Key. Setup is very, very key. And you need, all the usual things to make it play well, such as, the right strings, right pickup height, not sharp fret ends, those things. But the most important thing I want to convey is you don't need to spend several $1,000s to get a great sounding, great playing bass. Manufacturing is so good now that once you hit a certain point, you almost kind of hit some ceiling of potential. And at the end of the day, sounds like a bass. The second thing, playing comfort is key. If you are uncomfortable playing a certain instrument, it doesn't matter who made it, how expensive it is, or what kind of online influencer tells you it's a great bass. If it's uncomfortable for you to play, or if it hurts for you to play, you're not going to sound very good on it. So the take-home message for this one is find the instrument that you are most comfortable with. Because if you're not comfortable, or if you're playing in pain, you will never play well, or you will never play at your potential. The third take-home point, find the instrument that complements your natural tone. So these skinny bony fingers, the natural tone from these is kind of mid-range peaky for me. And I know that because I sound like me on just about every bass I play. And I've had other people tell me that as well. So I know there is some tone that truly comes from your hands. Where this becomes relevant is if I play a very mid-range focused bass, I don't like how it sounds. That doesn't mean it's a bad bass. It doesn't mean that bass sounds bad. It just means that bass is not complementary to how I naturally sound. And it doesn't maximize kind of the sonic potential of the interaction between me and that instrument. So here, find the instrument that complements your natural tone. You need to find what your own natural tone is, and then play lots, and then find the instruments that complement that and make you sound as good as you can. And finally, the last thing I've learned is play what you like. You have to like the way it looks, you have to like the color, you have to like the style. You have to walk by your instrument on a rack and go, I want to pick you up before walking by. I have to play you. You want that. You don't want the bass that someone on the internet said, oh, this is what you have to buy. So again, I recognize the irony here is don't listen to what I like. Listen to what your heart and what your eyes like and play what you like, not what other people tell you. Before we get on to my rankings of short scale basses, if I could have a moment of your time. Some of you may know that my day job is as a palliative care doctor. So I look after patients with advanced cancers and advanced organ illnesses, such as congestive heart failure or kidney failure or respiratory failure. And one of my passion projects related to my day job is to create a series of videos that kind of explain more about end-of-life care and palliative care, and to answer and address the more commonly asked questions about this difficult time. So I started a second YouTube channel, completely unrelated to the bass-focused one, where I talk about these things. So if this is relevant to you, a family member, or anyone else in your life, then I would encourage you to check it out. You can visit my website at www.palliativecareexplained.ca, or in the search bar of YouTube, please type in @Palliative Care Explained, and that should take you right there. I feel totally embarrassed and awkward to ask this of you. But if you could go to that other channel and hit the subscribe button, hit the like buttons, or share it with people in your life who may benefit from that type of information, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much for your time. All right, on with my rankings. So the approach I've taken here in how I've ranked it is, if my studio were to burn down today, which I really, really hope it doesn't, but if it does and I have to start all over again, what would I get and why? So I've broken it down into different categories of body shapes and types, and also in different price brackets. So the first category are bases in the 28.6 inch scale. And of those, I reviewed 3 of them. I reviewed the Jackson Minion, I reviewed the Ibanez Micro 4, and I also reviewed the Squier Mini P. In fact, I also have a whole mod series on the Mini P as well as the Micro 4. So of those 3, if I were to start all over, which would I get and why? In first place, I would get the Ibanez Micro 4. In second place, the Squier Mini P. And in third place, the Jackson Minion. So why? Well, I think for me, the Micro 4 was the most comfortable. And just the contact positions, it just, on my body, fit me a little bit better than the other 2. I think the other reason is I spent a lot of time playing an Ibanez Sound Gear shaped Cort 5 string, and I gigged that bass until it didn't want to be gigged anymore. And that was my main bass for many, many years. I think for me, there's something nostalgic about the Sound Gear shape for me. It brings me back to kind of my more youthful days. But most importantly, the Micro 4 was the most comfortable. Now, having said that, I do find that the neck on the Jackson Minion was the most comfortable neck, but there were a few sharp points in the body that didn't quite jive with me. As well, the electronic package on the Jackson was the weakest. So in the 28.6 inch scales, I would get the Micro 4. All right, on to the next category, 30 inch scale, but I'm gonna start with the kind of more unique looking slash oddball slash out of the ordinary type basses. And for me, in first place was the Squier Rascal. The Rascal was a cool bass, man. I really enjoyed the sounds coming out of the Rascal. The biggest issue I had with the Rascal is it was too long and a bit big on me, but tonally, Squier Rascal, it was great. Now, Squier has come such a long way compared to the Squier I remember when I was a kid. So I think if you buy a modern Squier, I think you will be getting a quality, budget-friendly instrument. So first place, Squier Rascal. In second place, I'm gonna have to go with the headless Hills bass. So I modded this because I didn't like how the original kind of pickup sounded with my fingers. And like I said earlier, like I naturally produce a mid-range peaky sound, and this bass just naturally has a lot of mids to it. So by putting in the Tone Rider Duke pickups here, I think this now complements my playing very, very well. I have this set up in D standard, and I made this what I think is a nice looking pickguard out of wood, and then I painted it a purple sparkle. You probably can't appreciate it in this camera angle, but I tried to kind of model it after my Stoners back there. And this bass for me is not my daily driver, but I think with it strung in D standard in this current configuration, it does what I want it to do. And I like that it's kind of oddball and unique. Even though I'm not really a headless guy myself, I like how this turned out. In third place, the Dan Electro 56. This was a cool bass, but my main hesitation with this bass is the construction. It just felt like it was made of kind of multiple layers of cardboard glued together. So I wasn't quite confident of how well it would kind of hold up, kind of going to and from gigs. So that was the main reason why it's lower. But the lipstick pickups were certainly cool. It was a cool looking bass. It sounded cool, had a unique tone. But the construction was just a bit on the flimsier side. All right, and then last up, the Luna Tattoo bass. You know what? This bass was comfortable to play, but the electronic package in the example that I got was a bit noisy, even though it had a P pickup in it. And the tattoo, although cool, didn't really fit in kind of with the rest of my aesthetic and vibe, and for the gigs that I play. But otherwise, it's a cool bass. So there you go. 30-inch scale, more oddball and less ordinary. The next category, 30-inch, solid body, but more kind of broad appeal, off-the-shelf music store type 30-inch basses. And in first place, the Groove TM. This bass I bought for 289 Canadian dollars, and out of the box, it blew my mind with how good it was. So I still stand by what I said in my original video. I still think the Groove TM is the best value-oriented short-scale bass. Now, since I made that video, it sounds like Groove had to increase their prices. So I bought it for $289. Now I think they're well into the 300s. And they're also sold out in a lot of the more kind of desirable colors. I don't know if that has anything to do with me. I don't want to delude myself into thinking I have something to do with that. I'm not associated with Groove in any way, shape, or form. But I do want to say that that instrument, or at least the example I got out of the box, fantastic. It was great. And for $289, I don't think you could beat it. In second place, the Squier Bronco. Again, Squiers come such a long way from yesteryear. The Bronco I had was such a fun bass to play. I know some Bronco owners have found some QC, quality control related issues, but the one I had was pretty good. And again, for sub $300, what more could you ask? Now, I filmed an extensive modding series on that. So I think with the Bronco as a kind of a base for a modding platform, you can really tailor it to however you want. So that's a lot of fun. Third place, the Harley Benton MSV. So the Harley Benton Mustang bass copy. Having reviewed both the first version and the second version, I think I like V1 better than V2. You can always put a switch in after the fact, but V1 just felt better, and it had Goto tuners on it, unlike V2. So that's third place. Fourth place, Gretsch Streamliner. I just filmed that video a few weeks ago, so check it out if you haven't. Fifth place, Mark Bass Yellow. I feel the Mark Bass Yellow it was a missed opportunity. They could have made that line extraordinary. And for the asking price that they're asking for, I think it's just a yellow Bronco, unfortunately. All right, and then last place, the Ibanez Tommen 4. The biggest drawback to the Tommen 4 for me is it was uncomfortable to play, and it was very neck heavy. So I spent more energy lifting that bass up than I wanted to. So for me, the comfort factor put it at the bottom of the list. Next category, 30-inch scale, but now the price point between 500 to 1,000 Canadian dollars. Okay, first place, G&L Tribute Series Fallout. The Fallout was an outstandingly made bass. All the tributes are. And unfortunately, at time of filming, G&L has disbanded. And I'm very sad to see that company go. I quite like the Fallout. The pickup was aggressive sounding, but that being said, it was very well made and it's just a great bass. So check out the Tribute Fallout from G&L. In second place, the Squier Classic Vibe 60s Mustang bass. When I got that one, I think it was around 650 some odd Canadian dollars. It's a very comfortable bass to play. I'm very familiar with the Mustang shape. So for me, the Squier Classic Vibe 60s Mustang ticked all the right comfort boxes. The biggest problem with that bass was the pickup was a bit on the weak side. But I think if you put a better Mustang pickup in there, such as like the Curtis Novak, yes, it's expensive, but if you put the Novak Fat Mustang pickup in a Squier CV Mustang, you're probably still looking at 800-ish Canadian dollars. That would make a killer sounding Mustang bass combination. So there you go. After that, I didn't actually film a review on this bass, but in this third place would be the Sire U5 short scale bass. I owned the Sire very shortly before I started this channel, and that bass was very well made for this price point. I think I bought it for $700 at the time, and for $700, it was built very, very well. My biggest problems with the Sire U5, which is why I don't have it anymore, is I felt the body had a sharp point that kind of contacted my forearm in the wrong place. So that part made it uncomfortable to play. Yeah, and the other thing is I felt the bridge pickup was too close to the bridge. So if Sire can fix those two things, I think the U5 is a awesome bass. But for me, as it just wasn't comfortable enough for me. And after that, the first generation Sterling by Music Man Stingray short scale. I tried the blue version. This was the original one. The current ones now have roasted necks on them. I liked the bass. It played well. It was well made. Competitively priced at the time. But my biggest problem was I didn't think it sounded enough like a Stingray. It looked like one, but it was passive electronics, and I think the preamp is a big integral part of the Stingray sound, and it didn't have it. Now, I like passive basses, but I think for a Stingray's got to be active. So for me, I felt the Sterling Stingray short scale was a bit confused. It was like it was trying to be too many different things without being true to itself. So unfortunately, that Sterling is being ranked lower for me. But I know lots of people who love the Shorty Stingray, and it's a great bass. It just didn't kind of fit my sonic vibe. All right, the next category is a tricky one. 30-inch scale, but between 1 to 2,000 Canadian dollars. Why do I think this is tricky? I think it's tricky because once you get into 4 digits, I think everyone's expectations go way up. And when I used to work at a guitar store, $1,000 was a US made Fender. This was in the late 90s. And now for $1,000 now, a lot of us still think it should be like a US made Fender. So that's where things get tricky. But for me, in first place, is the Fender Junior Jazz. So that's this one. So these are made in Japan. When I got this, it was 1,300 Canadian-ish. I don't know what they are now. They're still out there. This is a great bass. As I mentioned in the video, it has some kind of finish issues, but otherwise, sounds great. This thing it's a great bass, so I really love this. Right after that, also made in Japan, the Atelier D Ken Ken Signature. It's another 30-inch jazz bass. The pickguard used to be a mirror, but that got to be a bit too much, so I made one out of wood and made it have more of a kind of Marcus Miller vibe to it. It is a great bass. My biggest issue with this is a bit on the neck heavy side because the lightweight basswood body just doesn't have enough counterweight to it. But otherwise, it's a very versatile sounding bass, this one here. After the Tele-Z, I'm going to say the Fender Player 1 Mustang bass. Having reviewed both the Player 1 and the Player 2, I felt the Player 1s were better made. Now, the ones had a Palliative fingerboard and the 2 had a rosewood board. Yes, but I think overall, for me in the examples that I've tried, the Player 1s were made better. And I think the pickups in the Player 1 sounded a little warmer and a little more vibey. The Player 2's pickups were a little edgier. So that might really depend on kind of what you're after. But for me, the Player 1 just suited kind of the natural tone coming from my fingers. So that's why I'm going to put the 1 over the 2. After that, a made in Japan Fender Mustang. These were more traditional, so it had the string through bridge and slightly tighter 17 millimeter string spacing, unlike the Player 1s and the Player 2s. Those are cool basses. When I bought my Japanese made Mustang, this was 2019, 2020-ish. I think I only paid $800 or $900 for it. Now, if you go onto Reverb, the prices for these made in Japan Mustangs are insane. So I'm not sure I would spend that kind of money on it. If you can get it closer to 1,000, 12, 1,300 Canadian, then they're a good buy. Much more than that, I think the prices have gone too high, unfortunately. Now, honorable mentions that I have not either reviewed or had a chance to play. So the Fender JMJ Signature, that is a great bass. I ultimately chose this Schecter Mustang over the JMJ with the main reason of I prefer a 1.5 inch nut width and the JMJ had a 1.625. The reliking work, you either like it or you don't. But my biggest problem with the JMJ is I think it's too expensive. It's almost $2,000 at time of filming, 2,000 Canadian dollars. And I think for a made in Mexico bass, signature or not, that's a bit expensive. And I'm not sure you're getting that much better a bass compared to like a Player Series Mustang if the Mustang shape is all that you want. Now, if you're a huge JMJ fan, then cool. And again, don't get me wrong, the JMJ is a great bass. I just think it's a little steeply priced. And then as to basses that I haven't had a chance to play, there are now short scale offerings from Sandberg and Marischuk, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, that are pretty kind of rare to come by, at least in Canada, maybe more in the United States. Certainly if you're in Europe, might be easier to get your hands on one. I'd love to try those, but I unfortunately just haven't had the chance. Okay, next category. Beatle style basses. All right. So, as an owner of a Hofner, I'm going to say that if I was after a Beatle bass, I would get the Epiphone viola first. Few reasons. Number one, string spacing slightly wider. Number two, the tuners are way better. Number three, it has volume tone instead of those weird finicky Hofner control layouts. So, first place, Epiphone viola bass. Number two, sure, let's go with Hofner. Either the Icon or the Ignition. Biggest problem with those are there's a pretty wide variability in quality control. So for the Ignitions, I would try to say, try it before you buy it if you can and have a look at all the fit and finish issues and construction issues before you put your hard-earned money on it. And number three, the Harley Benton beat bass. You can see the video for more details about why that came last. But for me, I would take the Epiphone and the Hofner over the Harley Benton. But it's much more difficult to argue with the price point of the Harley Benton. All right, next category. We're now into semi-hollow basses. I just reviewed this bass, but I'm quite happy with it. First place, Ibanez. What's it called again? The AGB 200. So this guy, I'm really digging this bass. And in 2026, I'm going to be starting a kind of a new string series with this bass where I'm going to try to find the best set of flat wounds for this bass. So stay tuned for that. In second place, a pretty close second place, the Epiphone Rumble Cat. So the Alan Woody signature from Epiphone is a great bass. I really liked the middle pickup on that. And I liked how it was kind of further forward than being way back at the bridge. With round wounds, I think the Rumble Cat really shines. The neck pickup, however, doesn't sound like a Hofner, and it is lacking some articulation, is a bit woofy. Yeah, so I don't like the neck pickup, but the secret sauce is in that middle pickup. So Rumble Cat, quite happy with that one. In third place, my Hofner club bass. I have the Contemporary series. I have my gripes with it, but it has a cool sound and people ask for it. So that's why the club bass is still around. Fourth place, the Eastwood Classic 4. This bass I think was kind of a bit big and awkward, and it had several dead spots, at least on the example that I had. So for me, lower down. Honorable mention, now I've yet to try this, is the new Guild Starfire. Not the vintage ones, but the newer one with the P-style pickup in it. Those are very hard to come by where I live, so unfortunately I haven't had a chance to check one out. Next category, 5-string short scales, of which in the affordable category, I only had a chance to try out 2. And in first place, I would choose the Ibanez Micro 5. Yes, it's a 28.6-inch 5-string. Yes, the B string is not going to sound like a Dingwall, but given the physical constraints and limitations, I think that P string sounds pretty good. So Micro 5 in first place. In second place, the Tommen 5. For the same reason as the Tommen 4, I just felt the Tommen bass to be uncomfortable. But again, that's my body, and yeah, it just didn't fit me. Now we're getting to the expensive and custom and rare stuff. Now, I like my own collection because they are exactly that. It's a collection. And these days, one of the things I like sinking money into are kind of more rare pieces or custom pieces that I still enjoy playing and it's comfortable and it suits my needs, but they're expensive. So in no particular order, this Warmouth build with the double reverse P and the reverse headstock is kind of like, it's a synthesis and culmination of everything I've learned and want in a short scale bass put in a single package. So I think for me, this ticks all the right boxes. I love playing this thing. It helps that I assembled it and finished it and asked for the design and things like that. But I really like how this turned out. And if there were ever to be a production model short scale bass that I have to have that, it would be something like this. I was very fortunate to be able to collaborate with F-Bass in the kind of genesis of this bass. It is the first ever VF short scale bass from F-Bass. I've since put a wooden pickguard on that I made and finished just for kicks and giggles. I like how it turned out. But this is a daily driver for me. Between the Warmouth and this F-Bass, this gives me all the P-Bass vibes I need. It's super comfortable. This bass melts away into my body. So I love this thing. Now this, you may say, well, that's just a Fender PJ Mustang. This, however, came before the Player Series. I think these were originally called the PJ Offsets. I bought this bass, I think, for under $700 at the time. This is around 2018-ish. I've had the same set of Tomasic Infel flat wounds on it pretty much since 2018. And there's something about this bass, or this generation of PJ Mustangs, that this bass is awesome. It does everything I need it to do. It's even up and down the neck. It's lightweight. It's comfortable. I had a different pickguard made for it. and I only run the P pickup. So this switch is a producer switch, doesn't do anything. The J pickup is completely out of the circuit, and I put a vintage Fender style threaded saddle bridge on it. So to get kind of the more vintagey tones, this is what I use. It's got a perfect neck on it, and yes, it says made in Mexico on the back, but if you were to blindfold me and tell me this was a US custom shop Mustang, I'd be like, yeah, okay. But this is a irreplaceable bass for me at this point. And on the bottom row, third from the left, every song was recorded on this bass, which is processed differently to make it sound like different basses. And the engineer loved it. So there you go. Now another piece unique. This landing fretless. Again, I don't know what it is about this bass. It has a few kind of construction niggles in it that sort of bother me. But the thing is, it's the synthesis of the parts. And this bass just... It just sings in the right way for me. Ash body, maple neck, ebony fretboard. Again, I'm only running the P pickup. This has a vintage Ibanez lawsuit era pickup in it. The combination of parts on this bass are just... I don't know what to say. It's a piece unique, and I love it. All right, last thing I want to leave you with is, what do I think the market is lacking? Or at least, what would I like that the market's not making? What I would like is a fancy wood 5-string in a 30-inch scale that looks like this. So it kind of has that MTD, Ken Smith, Tobias, old school Tobias vibe. I mean, I'm not totally sold on the neck through. I prefer bolt-ons myself. But it's just this vibe of bass in a short scale. If someone could make that at an affordable price, this is a Cort, by the way. So if Cort wants to make that, I'd buy one. I'm not sure how many other people would, but I'd buy it. So there you go. I've reviewed 40 short scale basses in 2 years on YouTube. I've shared with you what I've learned, what I think the priorities ought to be, and I've given you my rankings. But again, I'm not telling you what to buy. I think you need to follow your own eyes and follow your own heart, not what other people on the internet tell you to buy, not what's in fashion or in vogue. Find the instrument that appeals to you. Find the instrument that you are most comfortable playing, and find the instrument that you sound the best on. That's what you should own, not what other people tell you. Well, thanks so much for sticking around to the end. Thank you so much for supporting this channel. I am so appreciative. Have yourself a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a wonderful end of 2025. See you in 26. Peace.